Okay, so we've talked a little bit about confidentiality today and what that means. So can you tell me what made you decide to schedule an appointment? What brought you in?
I've been having a lot of anxiety and just a lot of nervous thoughts.
Okay. So can you tell me kind of what goes through your mind when you're feeling anxiety?
Just when things happen and I feel like I don't have control, I get really nervous and I just want everything just needs to be so, or I just get really anxious.
Okay. So it sounds like you feel the need to have some order in your life, and if things are out of order or out of control, that's kind of when you start to feel that anxiety. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay. So can you tell me what makes you believe that that's true? What makes you believe that if things aren't controlled, that things are going to go wrong?
Well, there's things in my life that, like, I can't control, like behavior of, say, my son or something, but he's been in some trouble. So I feel like if I can keep things in order, then everything might turn out okay.
Okay. So there are maybe some things in your life, it sounds like, that have really been beyond your control, like with your son, and so you feel the need to control other aspects of your life.
Yes, it just feels like if I can keep everything in control, that maybe everything will be okay.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Um, can you kind of tell me in the past, have you had these types of thoughts before in the past? And if so, when?
Yes, maybe not as bad, but I always feel like if I've always felt like if I could just keep everything done and everything just on a routine, and then things will be okay. If they kind of aren't, then I kind of get real anxious about things.
Okay, so it sounds like you're telling me this is something that you've kind of dealt with or had feelings of throughout your life, but maybe it's worse at certain points in time.
Yes, when something happens, like the things that we've been through with my son lately, it's like it kind of escalates and gets worse, and I have more anxious feelings and more control, like need to be more in control of everything.
Okay, and can you tell me those times in your life when it kind of feels worse and things feel more out of control? What kind of thoughts go through your head? What are you feeling?
Well, just I just feel real nervous, and I don't really like to go out and be around people. I just feel like if I can stay home, control my environment there, and keep everything just on a regular routine, and just that things will. I just feel like I have to keep things going in a certain way, or things are gonna just fall apart.
Okay, so it sounds like control is really an issue and something that you're struggling with right now.
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell me how did those thoughts kind of begin? Do you have an idea of what made you start to think that way? Is that something that happened when you were younger, or now that you're, um, a mother? When did those thoughts kind of begin for you?
I think this probably began years ago when I was in high school, because those were some hard years, and just I just always felt the need when I got went through my teen years that things needed to be done a certain way and fixed a certain way, and I guess it's always been there. At times it escalates when things aren't going good.
Okay. So, what you're saying is this is something that really you remember um, starting kind of a lot stronger when you were a teenager, maybe in high school.
Yeah, and at times it's worse than others. At times it's not as bad, but at times it's worse.
And have you ever talked with maybe your family or friends or anyone in your life about how you're feeling, and if so, what were some of their responses?
Yes, I've talked to my mother at times, and she just kind of tells me I can't control everything. I need to learn that not everything is controllable. That some things are out of your control, and you just have to learn to deal with them different ways.
Okay. Um, and if you encountered somebody else who was kind of having some of these thoughts about needing to control everything, what advice do you think you would give to them? What would you say?
Well, it would probably be easier to give advice than to take my own advice, but I do know that things are not controllable all the time, and I would tell them, that it's a lot of waste of energy and a lot of waste of fretting and worrying when there's just some things that's out of your control. But I would tell him that.
Okay. So do you feel like this idea of needing to control things and having it affect things in your life, does that hold up in all situations, or can you think of times when maybe that isn't true, that controlling things doesn't actually help your anxiety?
Mm, no, I feel like that most of the time that I feel like it will help my anxiety if I can just control things and kind of keep things at a certain thing. Then I feel like I handle my anxiety a little bit better. I get more anxious when things happen that I can't control.
Yeah. So it sounds like having that control is something that really impacts how you feel on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
Okay. And do you feel like that ideal or that thought is a good thing in your life or a bad thing? How does it affect you negatively or positively?
It's probably a bad thing to feel like you need to control everything, but also for me in my own mind with my anxiety, sometimes it's a positive thing because I can do things that I do the things I can control, and that makes me feel like I have a little bit of control over things I can't control just by controlling some things that I can.
Okay. Well, thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you.